Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brown Bears Sports Report. I'm your host, Scott Cordischi. Glad you could join us for the premiere edition of the Brown Bears Sports Report this fall, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome to our first Brown Bears Sports Report of the fall of 2020, the Ivy League champion Brown women's soccer team, and we'll introduce them to you in just a moment. But first things first, let me tell you that the Brown Bears Sports Report is brought to you in part by Elite Physical Therapy, the premier choice for physical therapy in Rhode Island. Elite Physical Therapy is staffed by a team of highly trained and talented physical therapists that specialize in treating back and neck pain, sports injuries, and surgical rehabilitation. It's your choice where to go. Well, as I mentioned, we're joined by the Ivy League champs, the Brown women's soccer program. And first things first, let's say hello to their head coach, Kia McNeill. Kia, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us on, Scott.
Well, Kia, thank you for joining us and congratulations on a great season. I wish we were playing soccer and athletics this fall, but we all understand what the world's going through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, the timing of this interview. Today is actually 1 year to the date of when we won last fall against Penn.
Wow. How about that? Well, we're going to reminisce about that in just a moment. Let's welcome some of your student athletes to the show as well. A senior defender from New Jersey, Sydney Cummings. Sydney, how are you?
I'm good, Scott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Sydney, thank you for joining us today. We appreciate it. Also, your teammate, Zoe Maxwell, a junior midfielder forward from the state of Texas. Zoe, how are you?
Hi, I'm from New York, but I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misidentified you. That's my mistake. And then Rebecca Rosen is with us as well, a junior midfielder. Rebecca, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining us. Kia, let's go back to you and we'll go back to last season, Ivy League champs, and really in such dominating fashion. And your team really did it on defense. I mean, you were second in the NCAA in goals allowed. You were third in save percentage, fourth in goals against average. I don't know if that is your blueprint for success, if that's what you did as a player at Boston College, as an assistant at BC and Northeastern, but boy, it was one heck of a season.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I think last year, I think of it as a dream season. It's one of the most memorable seasons I've ever had as a coach. And, every team that I've played for, coached on, I think defense is, an important key to being successful. So that's something that we really start with our team is how we're going to defend as a team and then kind of build from there. And, this has been an evolution of, 4 years of us building this culture and kind of the work ethic and the team that we really wanted. And it was nice to see everything kind of come together last year and have one of the top defenses in the country, go undefeated in the Ivy League and represent the Ivy League in the NCAA tournament going to the second round. So, all the pieces just kind of came together last year and it was incredible to be a part of.
Sydney, you were such and have been such a huge part of this defense. Three-time All-Ivy, academic All-Ivy, last year a second-team All-American as well. Why was this team so good defensively last year?
Yeah, I think kind of to echo what Kia was saying, we got on the same page really early. And I think having the same mentality as we were going through was super helpful so that by the time we got to Ivy play, we had a shutout against Texas A&M, which was such a big deal for us. And we had barely let in any goals leading up to Ivy play. So I think that really helped us in terms of confidence, which is such a big thing, but also in terms of buying into the process. Kia talks a lot about things that we want to do as a team, but if we as the players don't buy in, it's kind of all for nothing. So I think super early on, we all got on the same page. And what she was selling was working. So we wanted to keep doing it. We wanted to win. And it just ended up working out so well. And as time went on, it became prideful. Like we took a lot of pride in our defending. We took a lot of pride in shutting teams down. And lo and behold, we have a championship season.
Zoe, you were a third team All-East region last year. When did you know, or when did you kind of have a feeling that this was something special? This team had the ability to do some real special things like win a conference championship.
Yeah, honestly, I've definitely talked about this with a few of my teammates before. And I think we knew from the very beginning, when we had preseason, we all knew we were good. Our practices were intense from the very beginning. Everyone seemed just very excited to be there. And I think that ultimately, like, why we had so much success was because we wanted to win for each other. And I think that that notion was kind of established in the very beginning. Like, we all were very excited to play for each other. We all love soccer. And I just think that it was very evident from the beginning that we were gonna be successful.
Rebecca, you guys had what I think is a great team bonding experience before the start of the season when you went over to France for the Women's World Cup, where Team USA obviously brought home the cup. Were you a part of that or not? Because I know you played in the European Maccabi Games in Budapest last summer. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was able to take part in both. It was definitely a pretty soccer-filled summer for me. I think that really got me excited, especially for the coming season, kind of being all in during the summer. But going out to France was definitely probably going to be the greatest game that I'll ever go to, the greatest experience of my life. I remember we were like fourth row. I know some of the captains were in the second row of that final game, and just being able to watch them kind of wave those flags and carry the trophy. It was just an incredible experience, once in a lifetime. And then I was lucky enough to play over the summer for the Maccabi Games. And I think in terms of competition, it was a little bit lighter, but just, I don't know, building friendships and kind of building some confidence back into the game. Definitely got something out of that.
That's terrific. Kia, getting back to that trip to France, obviously it's a great cultural experience for your team, but there's kind of that team bonding aspect of it. Is there not? I mean, did you kind of schedule that trip knowing that this could be maybe kind of a byproduct, our team coming closer together than maybe it already was?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you're going to watch the U.S. women's national team, I think it's an incredible experience. But when you can take your entire team over to Europe with you and experience, the U.S. team playing at the highest level, the World Cup, for soccer heads, that's the pinnacle of soccer is the World Cup. So just to see the game at the highest level, like Rebecca was saying, we had great seats. So we were, basically right next to the field watching, Megan Rapinoe run by, watching Tobin Heath run by. So I think anytime you watch the game at the highest level and you see, 90,000 people in the stadium, chanting USA, it just gives you a different type of pride and passion for the game. And, we were hopeful that that was going to continue to permeate through our season, but I couldn't have even imagined how amazing that team bonding trip would be until I actually was able to experience it. And it's amazing that our team, gets that opportunity every 4 years.
Sydney, as the season wore on last year, the excitement built around your team, and it kind of culminated with the game against Penn, where you clinched the Ivy League championship. But the stands were packed. It was a frigid night at Stevenson-Pinson's Field, but I'm not sure you guys even felt the cold with the adrenaline that you had flowing through your veins after winning the Ivy title. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's undescribable. And it's so funny that, like Kia said, today is the 1 year anniversary, because the way that we all talk about this, you would think it happened last week. Like the memories that we have from that night in our group chat right now, we're all sharing like throwbacks from a year ago, some videos, some pictures. And it's just like constantly putting a smile on your face, because we put in so much work to get to that point. And I think that's what a lot of people don't see. So like the spring before, like we had a really high standard with our fitness test, with touches, like with everything. And so then when the freshmen stepped in, like they had to step into that kind of culture and that environment that we built. And then we didn't know if it was going to work, obviously. And then when it really started to, and then to have that moment on your home field against a team that you have a pretty good rivalry with, a pretty healthy, strong rivalry with, it was just awesome. And then it's so funny, like we always say, like, shout out to the girl with the handball, and like shout out to all this stuff, because like there were so many things that could have gone differently that night. And I think Kia talks about it being a storybook season, and the way that it happened, the way it unfolded, the memories, like looking back, and you still feel so much joy. Like as we're talking about it, like I feel that adrenaline right now. So it's really great. And then to have that support from like friends, family, the student body, the university in general, like that, I think was something that we really didn't expect. we really didn't think there were going to be so many people at the Monmouth game that you couldn't get in, and there were going to be people standing behind trying to watch our game from all around. And I think that was really special for us. It's not something you notice in the moment because you're really just trying to win, but looking back, like, that is something that's so special. And a lot of people, I think, don't go to an Ivy League school expecting that kind of camaraderie around athletics. And to have that, it's amazing. It's so hard to put into words.
Zoe, I know you and your teammates obviously were so wrapped up in the moment, right? Trying your best to win every game, to win an Ivy championship, and then get to the NCAA tournament and win games there. But could you feel that excitement that was kind of building on campus? Because again, as the season wore on, you could see it, more people in the stands. And then that Penn game, the excitement of winning the championship. And as Sydney mentioned, the game against Monmouth, it was just packed. Could you feel that excitement maybe off the field? I know during the games you're so focused, but could you feel or sense that excitement?
Yeah, definitely. Like similar to what Sydney was saying, in the moment, you don't really realize the amount of people there, and you're just kind of caught up in playing and focusing on winning. But definitely after the game, after we beat Penn, it was extra exciting because it was senior night. So I just remember like feeling just extra special because we won the game for them. And I know it was really exciting, like when Abby scored the penalty kick and she ran over to our big fan base on the side. And I think that's when I fully realized how many people were there supporting us. No, but just to answer your question, yeah, I definitely felt the excitement, but it just became so real once we actually won. Yeah.
So Rebecca, what's the team doing right now? Are you engaging in small group workouts? Are you guys spending some time in the weight room? Tell us what your schedule is like this fall with no soccer.
We've come to like a little bit of a slowdown this week, but previously we were out on the field working on our fitness in the weight room, trying to build up strength and all of that. And then just in general, we have set up, Kia got us in touch with this app. So everyone, no matter what location they're in, if they're in Providence, if they're across the country, really if they're across the world, can access this app that provides like training practices, different types of drills, different types of touches. I'm fortunate enough to be living with 2 teammates, so we can head out to the field, work on those touches together, and really make sure that we're putting in the work maybe when no one else is, because I feel like there are some other teams that are laying off. And I know Kia talks about this like so often. It might not seem like anything's translating now, but all of those little things will build up and have payoffs in the end.
Kia, I know there's still so much uncertainty surrounding the pandemic, and with the Ivy League, there's been no formal announcement as to when athletic competition will resume. But do you hold out hope that maybe you'll have an abbreviated season in the spring, or how do you approach things right now with the pandemic shutting down sports this fall?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what Rebecca alluded to, you never know when things are going to manifest. So any work that we put in on the ball, away from the ball, we've had some great national team players come and have talks with our team for inspiration and motivation. I think all that little stuff that we can do right now, you just don't know when it's going to manifest. So, we have had calls with the Ivy League office talking about a framework for just an Ivy season for the spring. I've gotten emails about a couple non-conference games as well, but, we're kind of in a sit and wait and a little bit of a holding pattern right now. But, if we're the reigning Ivy champions, I think every action that we take, whether we're in a pandemic or not, we need to act like that. So, we've continued to hold a high standard as a team. I think you were asking like kind of what's your mentality. We listened to a podcast earlier this year and they talked about having kind of a so what, now what mentality. And, kind of focusing on the things that we can control. Obviously, there's a lot of things that the pandemic limits, but, we want to turn our focus to the things that we can control. And I think that the team and the coaching staff have done a really good job of that.
Sydney, I know the NCAA has ruled on eligibility for fall student athletes, and you'll be granted that extra year of eligibility. Have you given thought to what happens after you graduate from Brown in the spring? Would you possibly go to grad school and use that year of eligibility, or do you plan on, entering the working world? What are your plans for after graduation, Sydney?
Yeah, I think it's so hard because it's just like not the mentality that you're in, like prepping for senior year. Like I was at the track every day, like I was expecting to have my senior season. So I'm still trying to keep that mentality. Like I'm trying to not look too far ahead, which is hard in a pandemic because you have to inevitably. So I'm just really focused on potentially having something in the spring and enjoying my time here at Brown, and finishing it off in whatever way possible that is. Obviously there are decisions to be made, like greater picture in the grand scheme of things. But right now, like I just want to finish here. Like I just want to finish having a great time with my teammates. You know, Rebecca and Zoe have been so great, and Kia has been so fantastic. I can't say enough great things about this program. So like this is just where my focus stays for now while I'm still here.
Are you an English concentrator? Is that correct?
Yes, I am, but it's totally irrelevant to what I want to do. I actually want to stay in sports. So if there is a master's program in the future, it would be related to sports management.
Okay, great. Zoe, how about you? Are you a public health concentrator? Is that correct?
Yes, I am.
And what would you like to do with that degree? I know you have, another year and a half to worry about that, but what are your plans after graduation?
Yeah, honestly, I hadn't really thought about it at all until quarantine, and I kind of freaked out a little bit because I was like, wow, I'm getting older, I need to make decisions. But ultimately, I do want to go to grad school at some point. I don't know if that includes taking a year off after college, or I'm not sure, but I definitely just want to help people. I'm interested in health inequalities, so something down that line. But as Cindy said, I'm just very focused on my time at Brown. I can't believe that I'm a junior, and I keep talking to my teammates about how we're having conversations about senior year already. And it's like, am I a senior now? It's just like so weird to think about that. But yeah, I'm just really excited to have another year and a half at Brown.
Rebecca, how about you? Are you still a mathematics concentrator?
I'm actually not. I switched to mechanical engineering this past fall.
And what would you like to do with that?
Say it again?
And what would you like to do with that?
I haven't quite figured out like big picture stuff. I feel like no one really knows what opportunities are going to be available after we graduate with this pandemic hitting. But I feel like I'm just trying to take the proper steps over the next year. Next summer, I'm hoping to be in Providence again this summer. I love being around here so I can train with people and prepare for the season. So looking for opportunities there, and then focusing on the season first and then looking on the rest of my life.
Kia, I know after such a great season, other schools were knocking on your door requesting to speak with you. You probably had the opportunity to go elsewhere, but you decided to stay here at Brown University. What made you want to remain here?
Yeah, I think with any job in life, and I tell my players this all the time, is you have to find a place that like really aligns with your values, and you really respect the people and the people respect you. And I really feel fortunate to have found that at Brown. Obviously it's my first head coaching job, and there's always going to be a certain level of respect that I have for Jack Hayes for giving me that opportunity. And it's funny because a lot of people thought that this was just going to be a job that, I'm here for a couple of years and then move on. But, I really love it here. And I think it's really hard when you build a team, pretty much from the ground up, when you build a team and a culture and then, win a championship, it gives you that desire to do more and want more. And that's what I want for my team. That's what I, wanted this year. That's what I'm going to want next year, is just to continue to build this team to be the best that they can be, on and off the field. So yeah, I mean, other people came knocking, but, Brown's an incredible place to be. And, I really enjoy it here.
You have a lot of special young ladies in your program as well. And one of them I talked to earlier in the week, your senior goalkeeper, Maria Guerrero Martinez, and she has been such a big part of the Healthy at Brown task force. She also is working with the state of Rhode Island and the governor's office on COVID-related issues with young adults. Just really impressive. They're more than student athletes, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think that's the most incredible part of being a part of the Ivy League, and more specifically about Brown is, not only are we champions, obviously, on the field, but, all the young women on my team are doing such incredible things. They're doing incredible majors, had great internships over the summer. And, so when you can have the best of both worlds like that, you know, it doesn't get any better. So it's incredible what Maria is doing, obviously in the face of the pandemic, and what she's doing for the university and for Providence as a whole, and for the state of Rhode Island. So we're really proud of her and what she's doing.
Sydney, if you could maybe name one thing, what one good thing in your opinion has come out of this pandemic? Obviously, it's changed all of our lives, but is there something you look at and say, you know what, this is something that, I'll take out of this pandemic that turned out to be pretty good?
Yeah, I feel like there are certain things that good coaches will tell you, like when you're doing those really mundane drills that are super boring, they'll always say, like, this is the important stuff. Like, if you can get through this kind of stuff and you find this stuff interesting and you find this stuff exciting, like, you're going to be great bigger picture. And I feel like the pandemic really made all of us fall in love with the game again. And I feel like that was so important. Like, I was watching our old games all of March, and I was like analyzing every scene as if every clip as if it was going to happen tomorrow, as if we were going to be playing Penn tomorrow. So I think the positive thing, as hard as it's been and as challenging as it's been, both physically, mentally, all of that, it's really made me appreciate soccer. And that's why it's so hard to be a senior. Like, I want to be a freshman again. I want to do it all over. I want to follow Kia anywhere and everywhere. I never want to lose my eligibility. But it's really great to watch it, to fall in love with the game all over again. And I feel like it just really drives your hunger. Like, this team is going to be unstoppable in years coming up. And as hard as the pandemic has been, and as much as we wanted to prove, that we could do it again and that we wanted to be back-to-back champions, I think that the drive that people have gotten from this pandemic and from this time away will only make them stronger.
Zoe, how about the aspect of remote learning? How have you found that? Have you enjoyed it? Would you rather be in person, in class here at Brown?
Yeah, definitely would rather in-person classes. Online school is not for me, but definitely understand why it's happening. And I am super grateful that Brown is taking this pandemic seriously and they're doing all the precautions that are necessary. So definitely grateful that I'm in that environment. But as for online class, don't love it, don't love Zoom. So I'm excited for the spring, hoping that we could have some more in-person classes.
I'm glad you're Zooming with us today. Rebecca, how about you? What's your hope moving forward? Are you hoping that somehow, some way, things will settle down in terms of the pandemic and maybe you'll have some type of spring season, or what exactly is going through your mind?
Yeah, I'm definitely optimistic about the spring season. Kia's been keeping us updated about kind of the potential for it, and said that they're definitely having conversations about it. And we're fortunate enough that the Ivy League is kind of all in the same area. So I think there is a possibility to make things work. And we're all putting in the work that we can right now and hungry for whatever can happen.
Well, Kia, I know you probably don't want any more pats on the back for last season, but congratulations on another great season. And I hope we are playing soccer and fall sports in the spring. Good luck for whenever your team returns to the field. And thank you and your student athletes for joining us on the Brown Bears Sports Report.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. It's great.
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.